I genuinely believe Unraveled is the key to finding joy. Strap in though, because I have a lot of exposition to do. Brian has generally stayed away from the cliche lessons of children's fables. As such, his content is never quite what it seems on the surface. Hell, you could watch up to episode 7, Freestyle in Dances Moving, before I would even finish explaining my findings in the series. Literally. Sitting back and just enjoying the surrealist humor sometimes is the easiest way to enjoy Brian's content. On the other hand though, trying to explain the content, as surreal as it is something the community knows all too well. Brian knows it too, and he also knows not to tell us.
Look, sometimes people find more stuff in my videos than I intend, and I just don't tell them. When they're like, wow, the symbolism of X was so good. And I was like, yep, I intended for that to be there. Thank you.
But that doesn't exactly lead to joy, per se. So, does Unraveled really hold the key to finding joy? Before we get to joy, I need to talk about the basics of absurdism and its role in storytelling. Absurdism is, on many levels, similar to existentialism. And though that's not quite the path I took to connect the dots from Brian to absurdism, it certainly isn't all that far off. Absurdism, commonly credited as Albert Camus' brainchild, is the recognition of natural tension in the human search for greater meaning. Taking a closer look, this tension, dubbed the absurd, revolves around the ideology of a lack of greater meaning in the universe. In part hope that I don't butcher Camus' thinking, and in part to keep this video under an hour, Camus' beliefs can be summarized as the following. If searching for meaning is futile, as life has no meaning, some are inclined to wonder if life itself is futile. Camus, though, believed that this conclusion would be just as absurd. The best way to live, then, is to accept the absurdity and live without pressure. Camus believed that accepting absurdity was the ticket to freedom, giving way to loving the simplicities of life. Friends, food, love, and nature all become more rewarding. With freedom, one can continue the search for meaning as a choice. No longer a burden forced upon us at birth, but a choice we can choose to pursue with free will. And so, I feel absurdism can help set expectations in life. If you expect to never get a response from the universe to questions of meaning, searching anyway is driven by passion and pure curiosity. Not finding an answer is expected, and the determined search itself becomes the reward. As the numbers rise on old videos, I think back to my words, and I start to second guess myself. It's situational, of course. BDG Unraveled doesn't need to be factually correct. The video is pure satire. I don't feel the same in video essays such as this one. It's similar to a lot of Polygon content in that regard. It doesn't matter if Jenna Stieber is factually correct in her analysis of a fictional world where Digimon wins over Pokemon. It's a fun thought. Digiphones to watch Digitube and play Digimon Go. If her analysis of phobias in video games was proven wrong though, I would get over it because it's still a very, very good video, but I would feel misled nonetheless. I'm proud of my analysis of Dances Moving. I interviewed Megan Stanton, I analyzed the music, I thought about the greater meaning of the shorts Brian was wearing. All in all, I put together a pretty damn conclusive video essay. There comes a point though where I feel like I missed something significant. I worked Dances Moving into my last video partially because I thought I noticed something new. I rewatched the series with a friend recently and she noticed Brian is wearing Maryland socks in his New York City apartment, a possible allusion to his longing for home. I will always notice new things and regret not noticing them sooner. It will be damn difficult to always feel confident in my analyses. Maybe that's because I will never find out how accurate they are. I'm drawing my own conclusions. They come from my brain and they will probably never be proven as canon. But what has worried me the most, they may revolve around unintentional details. That's pretty scary. The idea that something so vital to a story I put together may just be an accident. It could all come crashing down because I looked too far into something. Or not far enough. From that, the search for validation. The hope to find accidents to avoid. It makes the fear all the more scary. I want to be careful not to deify Brian or anyone at Polygon. But when writing my analyses, they inherently become the ultimate erudites. And without a response, I feel its tension. Tension between the accuracy of my writing, the search to find truth and meaning, and the universe's silent indifference. It's absurd. I started analyzing Brian because I enjoyed it. Thinking critically about silly content could uncover an elusive, deeper meaning. It felt like forbidden knowledge, if you will. I love the idea that there was a story to tell, and I had the skill set to tell it. Brian's community is no doubt built around the very same mindset. The same thinking is what drives Unraveled, after all. In his goodbye to Unraveled, Brian spends a lot of time on that very thought.
I thought having the answer was going to make me happy. That it was going to prove the worth of my quest, prove my worth, and show people that what I was doing had meaning. I cared so much about knowing the truth that I completely ignored how much fun I had finding it.
Brian slumps into the same place I find myself, longing for accuracy, wanting the truth. But within the greater context of Unraveled, it's just trying to find meaning in the meaningless. I'm sorry, but no Castlevania monster is objectively hotter than the others. But Brian also knows this.
Spoiler alert, Unraveled has never actually been about proving the answer to surreal questions. In fact, it's mostly about proving the opposite. Sometimes creators intentionally leave blank space, and it's fun to speculate what bizarre truths could fill that space. But it's less fun to carve those into canon.
Real quick, I wrote this script before Pokemon Edibility came out. Brian's quote here is literally the thesis of this video, making my thinking canon, but that's not the thesis anyway. Brian never wanted to tell you the real most edible Pokemon. He would rather have you, the viewer, create joy in finding your own.
And that's why I'm so reluctant to tell you the most edible Pokemon. The best gift I can give you is the chance to search for yourself.
Camus believed that humans are born with a natural tendency to search for meaning. True or not, there's merit in it. I will always search for deeper meaning in BDG and in Polygon, but I need to stop searching for an objectively correct answer, especially considering I will rarely ever get one. Brian says there are rarely, if ever, any foolproof answers to subjective questions. My analyses will never be more definitive than the original artist allows them to be. But like Brian, I need to grow around it. I will continue to search for meaning in the meaningless, and I will fill in the intentional blank space with the wrong answers, and I will plaster my name all over it. Because accepting lack of meaning, coming to terms with our absurd world, reminding myself of the freedom in it, may just allow for the deepest expression of freedom Camus wrote about.
No matter how small and niche and insignificant something might seem, the very act of researching or spending time with or caring for it imbues it with meaning to you and to the people you share it with.